This is CBS 8 News Live at 6.
We still have these street releases of asylum seekers occurring every day, 7 days a week, including holidays.
Immigration advocates say at least 1,000 families have been separated at the border over the last 3 months. Now local advocates are taking action. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Carlo Cicchetto.
I'm Marcella Lee. 4 local organizations have now filed yet another complaint with the Department of Homeland Security over the separation of families at the border. CBS 8's Jenny Day starts us off tonight with what leaders are seeing at the border. Jenny?
Once migrants are processed at the border, they're given a court date to seek asylum and then brought here to a location in City Heights that we've been asked not to share. But we're told that they process upwards of 700 people a day. The county says that 50,000 people have been released into our community since September. Upwards of 700 people a day from around the world released on the streets of San Diego.
I understand when people have to leave their motherland and come. It's not an easy thing.
They're often taken by busloads to transit centers or the airport to hopefully connect with a family member or a sponsor.
Yo creo que es mi Uber.
Alfredo Morales called an Uber. He's from Guatemala.
Estamos buscando un mejor futuro.
He told me he's looking for a better life for his family. I heard the same from a group of men from Turkey. He says that they do have relatives here in the United States. We are going to try to build a new life here, and I hope we will be successful. The journey hasn't been easy. We came in with difficult conditions, and they were rude inside, but in general, it has been good. Immigration advocates say it's even more difficult for families who are separated. The humanitarian group Al Otro Lado says in 3 months, there have been more than 1,000 adult family separations.
To hear families and to hear parents speak about their young adult children that they are just so worried sick about.
Over a third of the cases, they say, are spouses.
So maybe one of you has the cell phone, has the wallet.
She says they are no longer seeing kids separated from parents, but in some cases, for example, adult siblings traveling together are transferred to separate detention centers or even deported right away. Advocates say of the 279 families that have been reunified, some were separated for as long as 48 days.
Folks seeking asylum, first of all, have the right to seek asylum in the United States regardless of entry.
That's why El Otro Lado, the ACLU, the Center for Immigration Law and Policy, and Jewish Family Services have filed a complaint with the Department of Homeland Security. They say the federal government's uncoordinated mass releases are reckless.
Us at El Otro Lado and other organizations really care about building an infrastructure that's permanent in San Diego that really does welcome people in a humanizing way.
The complaint calls for Customs and Border Protection to broaden their definition of a family group and more accurately document and link family groups. Reporting in City Heights, Jenny Day, CBS 8.
Thanks, Jenny. Now, we did reach out to Customs and Border Protection regarding the new complaint, but we have not heard back.
All new tonight, another San Diego County Water Department is warning customers of imposters posing as utility workers. The Helix Water District, which covers parts of East County, posted this warning on X today. It says a customer reported that 2 people claimed to be with the state and asked to enter the home to test their water. The San Diego Water Authority and the City of San Diego warned about something similar in October. Officials say if you're ever unsure, just ask to see the person's employee ID card and then call the organization they claim to work for to verify.
Right now, authorities here in San Diego are looking for a missing teenager. 13-year-old Rain Gonzalez was last seen on Sunday in Imperial County with a 43-year-old man named Lorenzo Carlos Guerrero. Here's a flyer of them. Guerrero is believed to be driving a silver Mercedes C230 with a California license plate 5ZF S158. You can call the San Diego FBI field office if you have information, or call 911 if you think you were seeing them at that moment.
New developments tonight in the case of Dia Abrams, a former La Jolla resident who went missing from her ranch near Idlewild more than 3 years ago.
A volunteer search team leader tells CBS 8 cadaver dogs have alerted on an area near Lake Hemet. As CBS 8's David Goffredson reports, the search location was identified by a group of psychics.
In the last 21 years, using psychic information only, we have solved or resolved 121 cases.
Kelly Snyder with the Find Me group has been working to find missing woman Dia Abrams for the past 2.5 years.
I got a contact request from the fiance, a guy by the name of Keith Harper.
Snyder says several psychics he works with believe Abrams is deceased, and they think her remains could be located on her ranch in Mountain Center or about 4 miles away near Lake Hemet. At the invitation of Keith Harper, who was the last person to see Abrams alive, Snyder searched the ranch in August with 3 cadaver dogs.
It was about a 1.5-day search of the ranch because it's quite a large area. And then the same day, on day number 2, is when we went to Lake Hemet.
The canines found nothing on the ranch, but at Lake Hemet, Snyder says, all 3 of the dogs showed interest in an area near the dam spillway.
So the first dog showed interest, then we went and got the second dog and then the third dog, and all 3 showed interest in the exact same area.
Indicating what?
Indicating that they believe down somewhere towards the lake was human remains.
The area was overgrown and only accessible from the water, so Snyder returned to Lake Hemet in November and transported 2 of the dogs to the location by boat.
We released our dogs one at a time, and within about 20 minutes, they alerted on a specific area. Both dogs actually laid down, and that was their message to the handler that they're saying that there's human remains there.
So did you find any human remains, or do you think that these 2 dogs alerted on the remains of Dia Abrams?
Well, no, there's no way for us to know who it is or what it is. That's something that, we have to leave up to the police. It's not up to us to uncover what the remains are because it's potentially a crime scene.
Snyder tells me those dogs are trained to alert on any amount of human remains, even something as small as a bloody Band-Aid. He says he wrote a report including the GPS location for those suspected remains and turned it over to law enforcement. David Gottfredson, CBS 8.
Thanks, David. CBS 8 reached out to the Riverside Sheriff's Department regarding possible searches at Lake Hemet. A spokesperson said they cannot comment due to the ongoing investigation. New tonight, officials have identified 2 victims of a plane crash in West Texas as San Diego residents. Texas Highway Patrol confirmed today 65-year-old Greg Seaman and 48-year-old Courtney Seaman were on the plane that went down just south of Cristobal, Texas yesterday afternoon. A preliminary report from the NTSB says the plane crashed in a field after a missed approach at a regional airport. The Seamans were the only people on board. There were no survivors.
Today, California Governor Gavin Newsom called out counties for not implementing the Care Court Conservatorship reform bill. It's aimed at people who cannot manage their own medical care or personal safety. At least 5 counties, including San Diego, are delaying the implementation of the law, which is set to begin January 1st. The county plans to meet in March to review a report on the county's efforts to eventually enact the conservatorship bill. The governor says he is hoping to relay the importance of the state's investments while reaching the counties.
You have a crisis out there. There's a crisis on the streets, and people are talking about delaying the conservatorship efforts till 2026. We can't afford to wait. The state has done its job. It's time for the counties to do their job.
Newsom adds he hopes this effort will help transform the behavioral health care system.
Meanwhile, San Diego County officials are holding resource fairs to connect more people experiencing homelessness with services they need, including legal help. Today's fair was held at Montgomery Waller Recreation Center in Palm City. The district attorney's office partnered with the public defender's office to organize this event. Help was offered for dealing with issues like low-level misdemeanors, traffic tickets, and child support.
If it's a lower level warrant, we talk to the DA, the city attorney, figure out if we can take care of the case today. If we can't take care of the case today, we'll get that warrant recalled, set a future date for them to appear.
Starting in January, the DA's office will be holding these fairs twice a month in different parts of the county.
Tonight, the Los Angeles Chargers are without a head coach and general manager after a devastating blow by the Raiders. They lost to them last night by 42 points.
CBS 8's Jake Gariani joins us in studio tonight with More on the decision for the team to move on. And Jake, it seems like after last night, there was no real decision.
Yeah, that was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back, but this was coming, right? I mean, I think at the end of the year, they were going to move on, but you can't wait after a game like that. This comes as a culmination of countless collapses, historic blowouts, and all-around bad football for the most part. And all of that has resulted in the firing of Brandon Staley after just 48 games with the Chargers. Many would say that was probably about 8 games too many. The Bolts appear to be cleaning house, as you mentioned. They have also fired longtime general manager Tom Telesco, who is in his 11th season with the Chargers. In his time with the Bolts and star quarterback Justin Herbert, Staley went a mediocre 24-24 and capped off his LA tenure with that game we've been talking about, maybe the most embarrassing loss in franchise history last night against the Raiders. The Chargers gave up 63 points and trailed 42-0 at halftime, the most points the team has ever surrendered. The loss was so bad and so disgraceful that Chargers owner Dean Spanos did something he never does. Fired a coach mid-season. Staley's just the second Bolts head coach to be fired mid-season since 1970 and the first since 1998. Now, after the Raiders game yesterday, it seemed quite apparent that Brandon Staley knew his fate when a reporter asked him if he thought he would be the head coach come Friday.
Brandon, do you expect to be the coach here tomorrow?
I don't know that.
Do you think you should be?
Yes.
Why?
I know that what I've done here for 3 years, and I know what I put into this, and I know that we're capable of going. I know the type of coach that I am. I believe in myself.
All right, after thanking Staley and Telesco for their hard work, Chargers owner Dean Spanos added this in a statement. Our fans have stood strong through so many ups and downs and close games. They deserve more. Frankly, they've earned more. Building and maintaining a championship caliber program remains our goal. Ultimate goal, and reimagining how we achieve that goal begins today. The Chargers have named outside linebackers coach Giff Smith as their interim head coach. And again, you kind of look at where the Chargers might go from here, who could be their next head coach. Some big names have been thrown out there like Jim Harbaugh, Bill Belichick. They haven't had a tendency to go after those big names, but it is an attractive job. I mean, you have a franchise quarterback and you have a GM vacancy if you do want to try and lure a big name coach. Offer them front office, too.
But they've lost a golden opportunity having a quarterback like Justin Herbert on a rookie contract. That's like just the golden egg in the NFL these days, and they've squandered it.
They've been known to squander a few things.
Thanks, Jake.
Still ahead. Yeah. Take a poll among San Diegans, see how excited you guys are.
Still ahead tonight on CBS 8 News Live at 6. Interest rates are dropping. We're working for you to figure out exactly how much home buyers could be saving.
Plus, new details tonight on the death of beloved TV star, what the autopsy report says led to Matthew Perry's passing.
And another gorgeous day here in San Diego. The warm weather will continue through the weekend. Take a look at our highs today. Along the coast, mostly in the mid to upper 70s. Inland valleys topping out in the low 80s. It was gorgeous all across San Diego. I will tell you just how long this warm weather will last because, yes, we do have cooler temperatures and wet weather on the way.